Let's talk to Sam Armstrong, political consultant with the Free Speech Union. Sam, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
This could not be a more disastrous story for the government, could it?
No, because it proves the following, which is that this government has been a participant in not one, but two crimes. It's aided and abetted the mass arrival of people breaking into this country, breaking our migration laws, and ignored them on the back of its own warped sense of human rights. And then it's also just trampled across the planning system. And look, it's not just funny and humiliating and a good result and all the rest of it. It does kick in the teeth, Mike, because listeners to the show will have put in planning application to convert their garage into I don't know, an office or a place for Granny to come and sleep, and the council will have bashed it back and they will have been told, no, you can't do it, and that was the end of it. But the British government, Keir Starmer, believes that he is exempt, that he is above the law, that he can just go put whatever, wherever, whenever he wants, and the views of the residents be damned. And it isn't a law that we would accept for anyone else, and I don't know why this government thought it was exempt in the first place. Right. So it's a huge kick in the teeth. And as you said at the outset, Mike, it potentially upends the entire system for housing these people.
Well, this is the problem, because every single place now in Britain, and I know it's already started in Broxburn, there will be other, I'm sure, reform councils who will challenge the existence of migrant hotels, and they will use this as a precedent, won't they? They'll say, look, the High Court's already decided that the change of usage for this particular hotel means that it's no longer a hotel, so you can make that applicable to every single migrant hotel in Britain.
Yeah, so here's the good news. We're not going to have migrants put up in hotels in nearly the same numbers as we did before yesterday. Here's the bad news. These people aren't going anywhere. These people are still going to come. They're going to break into this country every day because they know when they arrive, they're still going to get put up. They're still going to get their meals sorted. They're still going to get a little credit card of spending money. They're going to get the works. And this is what they're going to do. They're going to push them into houses of multiple occupancy. By houses of multiple occupancy, read terraced houses in British towns and cities. Read places where ordinary British families used to live. Think of the streets where you saw the coronation parties in the 1950s or the VE Day parties. Those are the streets, those houses that used to be functional working communities are going to be emptied out. Migrants are going to be moved in, 4, 5, 6 to a house, and British people are going to get pushed out. They're not going to be able to afford homes for themselves, for their kids, and as I say, communities will die right up and down across the country. And all of this, it does seem that, like, we so often try and treat the symptoms of the problem, which is massive numbers of fighting age men breaking into this country, rather than doing anything to deal with the problem, which is we need to get these people out.
But do you not think that that's politically now really difficult for Labour, because they're under scrutiny now, and this is what I was saying in the last hour, that, you know, they would have done that in the past. They are doing it as we speak. You know, we spoke yesterday to a Portsmouth councillor who said that they've now identified 22 different dwellings where they've been changed into HMOs, houses of multiple occupancy. There's going to be between 5 and 8 men moved into each one. But they try to do it sort of under cover of darkness without anybody knowing. And I think now that they're being watched, and because people are going to be paying very, very close attention to what is going on up and down the country, I think they will make a massive mistake politically if that's what they do, if they move these migrants into those communities.
Well, he hasn't got a choice. He's addicted. He's addicted to the mass inflow of people. Rachel Reeves is using them to balance the books. And
yeah,
he's not...
they're not, though. Because all they do is create another drain on the economy, surely.
Each one of them costs the taxpayer in the long run £500,000. Yeah. She used them because the OBR have got these broken figures that say that immigration is good for the economy. Really, look around. But I think you're right that they're going to get more and more secretive. And by the way, Mike, never forget, this is big business for companies. Yes. There are British companies that are getting wealthy beyond your wildest dreams off the back of finding these people housing, ripping off the taxpayer and doing whatever to trample over the wishes of local people. That's not going to stop. So the likes of these big companies, many of which, by the way, very surprisingly, loads of former civil servants, loads of former politicians sit on the fancy boards of, are going to do whatever it takes to sneak this through. And look, there are many thousands of these HMOs already licensed in this country. And I think what you're going to see is, if you're an HMO landlord, good news was yesterday's judgment, because there's about to be a lovely young fellow coming up from a big private services company that's going to say, how would you like us to double the rent of what your tenants have been paying for the last 20 years?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
OK, Sam, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Political consultant with the Free Speech Union.